31 companies, man. It all started with a vision, right? It started with an idea. It started with a thought of, I want to change my life.
All right, traders and friends, team and family, fans from around the entire world. I am with an internet celebrity. That's how I'm gonna use you, man. That's what I'm gonna say. This is a big deal for me. I might fanboy a little bit, but I've been following you for a while, Carlos, and I primarily follow you on Instagram. That's how I've interacted with your content, so that you know a little bit about my story from your perspective. So I started following your buddy Chris Crone for a while. I followed him because I know Pamela Berardi from Boston. I know her really well. I was on her podcast. She told me about Chris. I followed Chris. He posted something of yours. I followed your stuff. And then you posted a video, dog, that got me jacked up. And I was like, I need to share everyone this video. And it was talking about you and your parents. And the tag says, if you haven't retired your parents, go harder. And your mom and pop are in a Ferrari. And I was like, my man is doing it right. Because I haven't seen you in a Ferrari. I don't care what you drive, but what I'm saying is I love it that you gave to your mom and dad and you're like, here you go, mom and pops. I mean, that's what you're doing all this stuff for, right?
Yeah. So I retired my mother back in 2017.
Yep.
March of 2017. And you know what? I can't wait till we get into my story. I think one of the reasons why, people have had me on Andy Frisella's Real AF and Brad Lee's Dropping Bombs and Omar Elatar's The Passionate Few. Like, these are some of the top podcasts in the world, right? And I think one of the reasons is because of the impact that I'm able to make through my story, right? People are going to get to know, man, that, I'm not your average entrepreneur. I wasn't even born in this country. So, a lot of people hear of like, oh yeah, my great grandmother or my grandmother was an immigrant, right? Like, well, I am that immigrant, my grandkids might say that about me one day. I wasn't born in this country, and man, I had to get everything from the dirt, from the ground. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good show.
This will be a good show, and I want everyone to tune in, take notes, get your pen and paper ready, get your notebooks ready, because we're gonna be exchanging a lot of information. I ask great questions, and Carlos answers questions because he is an absolute baller. Carlos, man, again, just want to say thank you for being here, and everyone wants to hear your story. No one more than me. You've told it a million times, but it's going to continue to get better and better. Please inspire the world, the nation, the globe with why you are here on Earth.
All right. Well, again, just like I was saying earlier, I was born into extreme poverty. I was born in Mexico. I'm an immigrant. I came to this country illegally twice, not once, but twice, right? So, I was born in a northern state called Sonora. And, in Mexico, you're either extremely well off or you're extremely dirt poor. There's really no middle class. So, was born into the, extreme poverty side. And when I was around 2 years old, my mother decided to leave my father because, he was working for the police state force. He was working for the government at a state level. And he was, at that time, he was a pretty bad person, bad dude. And he used to, get drugged up, get coked out, come home, beat my mom, be drunk. And at one point, put me and my mother against the wall and started shooting at us. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. My mother was like, you know what, man, I can't do this. I gotta go. I gotta get away from this man. And we moved down about an hour and a half south to even a poor, more poverty, a small city called Guaymas, which is next to a tourist area called San Carlos Bay. We moved into my grandmother's house. My grandmother's house was around 350 square feet. It was made out of literally 4x4s, like wood and plywood exterior. I actually have several pictures rolling around the internet of that house where I grew up in. I had laminate roofing. I had a dirt floor, right? There's dirt floor. I had no, I didn't have a bathroom. Like our bathroom, my grandfather constructed a back house. And that's where our bathroom was. It was outside in the back. I had a washing board back there where we washed our clothes. We didn't have electricity or running water. The way that we would get our running water was there was a big truck that came by once a week, and we would get our water from that truck. We would pay that dude and take the water into some containers and store them in our house until the following week where he, came back up. My grandmother would warm that water up, and we would take showers out of a bucket. She would warm that up. We would shower out of a bucket. We had no shower heads, nothing like that. That was my childhood, man, growing up, till around the fifth, sixth grade. When I was around the second grade, my mother decided that, we just weren't going to survive in this type of environment. And if we did survive, nothing would, her sons would not do more than what they're doing now. I mean, it would, the cycle would just continue, right? So she left me and my brother with my grandmother for about 1.5 years while she came to the United States of America. And, she crossed over. She worked in the fields. She got amnesty because she was a field worker. She came back down, and, I remember this, man, in the second grade. I remember crossing a sewer canal through San Isidro, which is next to Tijuana, TJ, near the San Diego area. Literally with one hand, she has me with one hand and she's carrying my brother. We're going through a sewer canal, and we get over and we migrate to a small city called Escondido. I'm there for the third grade. I'm there for the fourth grade. By the end of the fourth grade, we're living under a tree. We're homeless. We just could not make it, man. It was too expensive. Back to Mexico, back to the drawing board. At this time, we come up with the game plan. We were pretty discouraged, to have to go through all that and make those sacrifices to fail in such a short time, right? Think about it, man. Like we went from like dirt floors to America, right? We thought we were in the land of milk and honey. We were like, holy smokes, man. There's cement flooring. There's shingle roofing, like, right there, there's drywall. Like it was crazy, right? So it was definitely quite a change for us. And we knew that once we saw America, we never wanted to live in Mexico ever again. We didn't want to live in that, in that type of environment. So when we went back down, we came up with the game plan. I became a grocery bagger, in the fifth grade. I started bagging groceries. I started buying groceries, and my mother started working at a resort, cleaning hotel rooms. We saved up enough money, and she made her way. We sent her on a bus to Phoenix, Arizona for another 2 years. In 2 years, she learned from the first time. She brought me over, not me and my brother. She brought just me over, and this time she paid a guy $25 to sneak me in through the border, through a fence in Nogales, Sonora. And that was in 1997. That was the seventh grade for me. And I've been here ever since. I started my immigration process to becoming a citizen of this country in 1997. And it took me about 15 years to become a citizen. But I'll tell you what, man, when I became a citizen, it was the greatest thing on earth for me. It was the greatest thing on earth for me, man. It was just like, man, because this is my home, this is my home, and I don't ever want to live anywhere else anyway. I've lived in another country, and I'm telling you, man, like there's nothing like the United States of America. There's a lot of people here that think they have it bad. Even the homeless people don't have it bad. Try being homeless in a third world country. Try being homeless in a country like Mexico, where you're expecting the poor to give you money. Like that's not going to happen. If you're homeless here, man, you can make a couple dollars a day, doing something. Even even panhandling, like you'll make more money in one day here being homeless than you would in several days working a job in Mexico. So, man, I hope that this country continues to thrive. I hope that, 'cause I have kids. I have a 9-year-old. I have a 3-year-old. I have several businesses, and I've created a life for myself here. And you see a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world, man, and you're like, oh man, like we got to unite here. We got to bring it. We got to go back to the drawing board. We got to become one like we used to be. When I came to this country, man, like I'm telling you, never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. So, that's my story, man. I came here as an immigrant, and I worked in corporate America for several years. And you know what? I was living paycheck to paycheck in corporate America. I wasn't thriving. I was just surviving. And one day I was like, you know what? I had my daughter at the time, and I'm like, man, my daughter, one day she's gonna ask me for a car. When she's in high school, she might say, hey, Daddy, can you buy me a vehicle? And what am I gonna say? I can't afford it. That they don't, like, that's not her fault that I can't afford it. Right? So, I just said, you know what? I got to start working on trying to build something for myself and really changing the paradigm, changing the trajectory of my family's financial existence. So then I started digging around in real estate. I started dead broke. I didn't have a license. I didn't have money. I didn't have credit. And I came across this strategy called wholesaling, right? I came across this strategy called wholesaling, and sure thing. I actually I wrote a book. Look at this, the best wholesaling book ever.
There you go, baby.
Yeah, because you know what? I was pretty dead broke when I started really trying to become an investor, and I bought a book for $10. It was called Flip, F-L-I-P, Flip by Nick Rees. And man, I started reading this book, and I just became addicted. Like, I'm like, oh my God, you can actually flip houses with like no money. All you got to do is find the deals, find the houses, negotiate the houses, putting them on the contract, and then find somebody who's going to buy the house, like an investor, assign the rights to that property, right? Or assign the rights to that deal and make a huge fee because you found the deal. That's how I started back in 2014. That's how I started back in 2014. And then by the time 2016 hit, man, I was already, actually flipping my houses. And now, right, my operation, it's been a 7-figure operation since 2016. And I literally renovate houses in 3 states, California, Nevada, and Arizona. And I wholesale houses. I trade houses in like 14 other states. So that right there was my baby. That's my bread and butter, man. After I started making a good amount of money, multiple 7 figures in the real estate world, I started investing a lot of that into launching other business ventures, or buying out other businesses. I was just looking at my CEO overview, right, for Q1 and Q2.
Yep.
Look at this. I have 31 companies now.
Nice, brother. There we go. 31
companies, man. It all started with a vision, right? It started with an idea. It started with a thought of, I want to change my life. And then it started with massive, it actually preceded by massive action, the ultimate sacrifice everything you can think of, right? Like time with my family, sleep, my own health, friendships, relationships, financial sacrifices, multiple risk, that turned into here. This is my real estate headquarters.
Yeah.
And that's where I am today, man. Thank God.
My man, dude, I love that so much. Here are some of my big takeaways from that. So the first one, that's the term dirt poor comes from people that live in dirt floors, as you likely know. And my man was dirt poor. So you and I have that, probably only that thing in common, I would say. And then secondly, the fact that you mentioned, if you're homeless in a third world country, That's a totally different type of homeless. I never actually thought about that because I've only lived in the US. I've visited other countries, obviously, but I've never lived in another country. And that is a very, very true statement to like really, really bring that home and to think through that. That is very
Absolutely,
true,
brother.
Yeah, very true.